Hi, welcome everybody.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, welcome. We just put the agenda and the sign-in links in the chat. So please make sure that you sign in and let us know where you're from, and let us know in the chat where you're from and what you're here today. Looks like we've got some great representation today. Dayton, Akron. Oh, I'm in Cuyahoga Falls right now, right by Akron. Cincinnati, Cleveland, Monroe County, more Cincinnati, Columbus. A lot from the big three C's today. That's great. Welcome everybody. And I've put the agenda and sign-in sheets in the chat, and I just put them in again. Make sure that you sign up, please. And it looks like more people are still coming in, but once we get to critical mass, we can go ahead and start.
Hello.
Hi, Donald.
Hey, Kyle. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Donald is our featured speaker for the day, and so we'll be introducing him in a couple of minutes. But now that we've hit a critical mass of participants, I'm going to go ahead and just get us started with some quick intros of who is Rank the Vote Ohio and what is ranked choice voting. So Rank the Vote Ohio is our state's first and only nonpartisan, nonprofit organization for advancing instant runoffs with ranked choice voting. We were started by a group of citizens from across the political spectrum who came together in summer of 2020, and we have been growing rapidly ever since. We are formally a tax-exempt organization, so we're a charity, and all donations you can write off, which is great. But it also means that we are a nonpartisan, nonprofit. We believe that ranked choice voting helps everyone, no matter where you are on the political spectrum. It helps all parties, and it helps to strengthen our democracy. And our message has been resonating with thousands of people who have been following us in the year and a half since we started. Why are they doing this? It's because ranked choice voting can solve so many problems with our politics, because instead of only voting for one person, we can vote for our first choice, our second choice, our third choice, and so forth. And if none of them wins a majority, then the last choice is simply eliminated, and the votes for that candidate will go to those voters' next choice until someone achieves a majority. Because in Ohio's current elections, you actually don't need a majority to win. And so that creates the problem where people can win with a fraction of the votes, like 37% in a primary last year, and it can result in unpopular candidates splitting the votes. And that's why we are stuck with this current two-party system where people feel like they have to vote for the lesser of two evils. And we've seen from other places implementing ranked choice voting, like Maine and Alaska, and like some cities in Ohio actually had ranked choice voting over 100 years ago, before some of the big party bosses were scared that it was too effective at electing independents, women, people of color, and so they led movements to stop it. And so we are all about bringing ranked choice voting back to Ohio, and it's great to see more and more people coming in. So please sign in as you join us. But just real quick, our current plan for how are we going to bring ranked choice voting back to Ohio. One, we are working in a select number of cities where we think we have the opportunity to pass RCV at the municipal level. And so that will help us spread awareness and gain momentum of having those cities serve as strongholds for a statewide ballot initiative like Maine and Alaska did. And so Donald is going to be talking about how there are about a dozen cities in Ohio that are going through their charter review commission processes this year. That is a huge opportunity for us to help advance ranked choice voting. And another just big ticket issue that we're going to be talking about in a bit, and Kristen is going to give us some messaging advice on now. This was breaking news just this past week. Attorney General Dave Yost wrote a letter to the Ohio General Assembly where he advised them to use ranked choice voting if our primaries could not be held on time in May due to all the redistricting drama. And so, like, our Attorney General has basically told the General Assembly one of the potential solutions to solve this problem that they created by not having the primaries on time could actually be to use ranked choice voting, because it's more efficient than having a separate primary and general election. And so Kristen is just going to give us some quick messaging tips, since we've just reacted to this with the press release that we've linked in our agenda.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are interested in learning, how do we talk about this with our friends, family, and people that we're talking about ranked choice voting? And it's really simple. Our response to this has been to focus on Rank the Vote Ohio being an educational resource. So the focus is talk about Rank the Vote Ohio as an educational resource for elected officials. As state legislators, we will talk to them and other groups who are supporting ranked choice voting. That is the main key point that we are making, is we are here, we do ranked choice voting, it's our thing, come to us. And we want to warn people, though, against taking sides. So do not take a side on redistricting in conversation about this issue, and don't agree or disagree with Yost's proposal. So we are not taking sides, because that is not the issue for us. The issue for us is they're talking about ranked choice voting, and we have resources, we have information, we can teach you what that means. And so stay on point with that as you're talking to people about the announcement to the General Assembly and that suggestion. And hi, I'm Kristen Byrice, Communications Director.
Thank you, Kristen. And now we are going to turn it over to Donald Wiggins for the main event. Donald is a lawyer based in Columbus who has previous experiences with ballot initiatives, and he actually was the one who flagged to us that we should be using the city charter review process. And so, Donald, thank you so much for joining us to walk us through that.
Absolutely. Kyle, Kristen, and the rest of the Ranked Choice Voting Board, thank you so much for having me and for the opportunity to speak to everyone here. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment to pause to either meditate or say a prayer for those in Ukraine. The situation continues to escalate, so I'm just going to ask that we take 45 seconds and whether worship your God or yourself or whatever it is, just to think about those that's in Ukraine. Thank you, everyone. World's a bit crazy these days. So if you look in the agenda, Kyle, Kristen, and the rest of the communications team did a wonderful job of putting together a one-pager for understanding the Charter Review Commission. I am not going to go over that. I think that's something that you can all take with you and kind of recap what I am going to go over today. But if you have any questions, it sums it up perfectly, how you can join, volunteer, donate, and learn more. I did put together a PowerPoint, which I'll share with everyone, that goes over the municipal review, charter review process and how each of you can actually get involved. So welcome again. My name is Donald Wiggins Jr. I was involved with the End Qualified Immunity campaign back in 2021 to end qualified immunity here in Ohio. It was known as Accountability Now. After the campaign ended last August, myself, as well as a few of the initiative sponsor committee members, decided to start a nonprofit so that we can really focus on reforming Ohio's criminal and civil justice system. The name of our nonprofit is Ohio Families Unite for Political Action and Change. I encourage all of you to check it out after this meeting if you're interested in learning more. I became involved in the RCV process through Kyle, actually. I noticed that he posted something on the Facebook State House group, how things work in the State House. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And Kyle, I posted a comment, Kyle responded back to me, which typically doesn't happen. So that got me really excited. Like, somebody's actually there. It's not just another bot. RCV is something that is near and dear to my heart because I think that the country is becoming increasingly polarized. And as Kristen and Kyle both indicated, it is a chance for us to really transform the process. So what is a municipal charter review commission is what we will be going over today. Disclaimer, I am an attorney, but this is not legal advice. So it is information for each and every one of you to be able to utilize as you will. Please feel free to check the information that I'm providing you against official sources or with your own attorney or legal counsel. This does not create an attorney-client relationship. I just have to throw that initial kind of disclaimer out there. All right, here we go. Apologies about the slide with the notes here. There will be none. I'm kind of the only, I'm the notes are up here. So, you know, 2022 still don't know how to use technology, but that's okay. We're gonna roll with it. Today we're gonna go over what is a charter city, how to amend a city's charter, what is a charter review commission, and how each of you can get involved in municipal politics. So what is a charter? A charter governs the form, structure, and organization of government. A charter is a city's constitution. So it's your big natural law of the thou shall nots and the thou shalls. The form of government, is it a mayor council form? Is it a mayor city manager form? Is it just a city council with no mayor form? In Columbus, Ohio, we have a strong mayor, meaning we have a mayor that's independently elected from city council. If you look in Cuyahoga County, you have more of a commission, in which case there is a mayor, and there are commissioners, and there's a combined county city government. Nonetheless, there's a charter that governs that city, that dictates the structure of the government, how it's ran, operational efficiency, what policies are to occur, and how elections are to take place. So cities without a charter, they end up defaulting to what the form of government is or is allowed to be within a city or within a township, which cities and townships collectively are known as municipal governments within the state of Ohio. If you are not a city or a township, then you are an unincorporated area, or you may be a village. Villages do not have charters. Instead, they have plans which have to be approved by the General Assembly, and they're governed more so by the Ohio Revised Code. So why have a charter? It allows for you to alter the application of state law with respect to the size of the board of selectmen, aldermen, or city council members. They're all the same term for meaning the official legislative body which governs a city. It creates a representative form of government, which also means it's going to be subject to open meeting laws and allows for citizens to be able to participate in the process. You can create or change the size of a city or a town council, both in terms of the geographical scope, so when cities actually merge or subsume one another, and in terms of the size of government. You can create positions or define powers of the city manager, the city administrator, or the city mayor, as well as of the city council in of itself, as long as it's consistent with the ORC. You can transfer power from one statutory board to another. So your Civil Rights Association or your police department and fire department, although there still may actually end up being contracts in place, that is a matter of contract law. For an overall statutory organization, it is going to default to what is in the city charter. It professionalizes certain staff, so your city unions or your city organizations, instead of it just being a group of citizens, instead it puts them into offices, and it allows for the city to organize themselves by policy area, subject matter, and department. And you can coordinate operations with various departments. So what is home rule and why are we talking about it? And why was it not on the table of contents? Good question, because there's a lot to talk about home rule, but we're only going to talk about it in a very limited fashion. Home rule allows for municipal governments to pass laws that pertain to their health, safety, and wellness, essentially what's known as police powers, escheating, taxation. Those are sort of your home rule sort of categories that allows for the city to govern itself and to do the very things that most people are familiar with a city government actually undertaking: your police services, your fire department, utilities such as water and electricity, if it's not taken care of or paid for by a private utility company. And again, for the purposes of this presentation, how members are elected. So what is a charter review commission? A charter review commission or a committee examines the entire city charter and makes recommendations for changes they think can improve it. The public is invited to participate in the review process and propose changes to the charter. A charter can be amended in one of three ways. One, on petition filed or approved by the voters of the city, which is known as an initiative petition. So members of the city would go out and collect 10% of the total number of signatures that were cast in the last gubernatorial, or in this case, mayoral election, by the legislative body of the city, which would be your city council. And your city council can put together a petition that would be presented before the electors of that city, and it has to be approved by 2/3 of the legislative body, and then it just has to be approved by a simple majority of the individuals voting in that election, or lastly, by recommendation of a charter review commission. Now, the Charter Review Commission cannot actually amend the charter. They can make recommendations, which then goes to the actual legislative body to approve said recommendations. And those recommendations would follow the process I discussed in step 2, which would mean that after the legislative body approves it, it then goes before the voters for them to actually approve of what the legislative body itself has approved of. Number 3 is what we're talking about today and how you can all get involved in this process. So how is a charter review commission created? It's created either by an article that's proposed by the legislative body or the city council, or it may be created by initiative petition. In most cases, the ones we're discussing today and the opportunities for individuals to get involved are all created by just statutory default. So most cities in their charter states that every 5 years, 10 years, or in some cases 3 years, there will be a charter review commission, which shall automatically be created to examine the actual city charter and decide to make changes or recommend changes, I should say, to go before the legislative body. This is just good maintenance and housekeeping, because as time goes on, we discover areas in the charter and the city structure which can be immensely improved upon. So it just becomes a standing policy to have a charter review commission which shall be created. Who gets to be appointed? It's either appointed by the mayor or by city council. Usually there's not an election. They'll request applications for individuals who are interested. The mayor will then pick those individuals and the city council will approve, or it may just be that the city council actually interviews and confirms who the commissioners may be. How is information disseminated? Notice to the press. There's a posting on the municipal website, posting on local cable news stations, as well as working with public and private groups, and information such as this group here, or groups I should say, such as RCD Ohio, which it seeks to elevate charter review commissions into the psyche of the entire public. So the charter review, how can you get involved? The charter review commission is your opportunity to suggest changes, meaning it is your opportunity to suggest RCD being utilized for municipal elections. And Kyle and Kristen are going to dive more into the merits of what that proposal would look like. And we're going to provide you with a template, we'll say model legislative language of what should go into it and what can be suggested. How you can submit your testimony, you can do it in person. For cities that are allowing for in-person testimony, COVID restrictions are being eased, so we know that's kind of a iffy thing depending on where you are. You can submit it in writing. You can do it via the internet, via email, and in writing, I should say via postal mail or snail mail. And some are allowing even digital if there are going to be Zoom meetings that you can be able to sign up and speak there. Besides the Charter Review Commission, even if you are in a city that does not have a Charter Review Commission this year, you can still go to your city council meeting, testify at your city council meeting. Usually you're given between 3 and 5 minutes, and you can offer, suggest, and recommend that the city actually adopts ranked choice voting as their preferred electoral system within your city. So questions that you should be asking or kind of be cognizant of when you're discussing possible recommendations before a Charter Review Commission, what's working and what's not. This is a good framework, these questions, to present your ideals. Why is it that you want RCV? Why is it, or what does it address? What issues does it address? Kind of pros and cons. What are the operational issues with our current plurality or first past the post system that we have? What are the proper checks and balances for an RCV being implemented within municipal government? Which means the tabulation process, what's the quota, all the great details, again, that we'll go into in further details and provide you with information should you be inclined and interested in testifying and presenting before a Charter Review Commission or even before your city council. Who is responsible to whom or to who? So if whoever creates the RCV system, the city council would implement it. It would be the Board of Elections. The city council would pass it. The Board of Elections would implement that system. So you would want to know who at the Board of Elections is going to be responsible for implementation and what role does everyone have, because these are important questions that you're able to answer when you present, as well as you have in the back of your mind, just in case it actually comes up. Who makes the policies for charter review, for ranked choice voting? Should it become the electoral system of choice in the municipality in which you reside in or you're presenting before? Who makes personnel decisions? In this case, it would be who appoints individuals to the Board of Elections to oversee it. Trust in the electoral system is very important. So the more you know about the minutia and the itty bitty details of the process, the better equipped you will be to answer questions. Who is appointed and who is elected within this entire process? All of the Board of Elections is appointed. So that's something that's really important to know, so that if you do want to make sure RCV is successfully implemented, that if you're seeking an appointment to the Board of Elections, then that is something that you're aware of how to go about doing it, as well as something that you should be aware of in case that's something, a position, I should say, that you're interested in obtaining in order to ensure the successful implementation of the system, and who can be removed and by whom. These are just general questions that you should think about, regardless of if it's RCV, democracy dollars, or any other ideal that you may have. And with that, as in the words of my favorite superhero, Captain Planet, the power is yours. So the more individuals that testify before a Charter Review Commission and uplift the ideal of RCV and email about it and speak to their elected officials, the more salient and likely that the Charter Review Commission will forward those recommendations onto the legislative body. There is no requirement that ideals presented in a Charter Review Commission has to be forwarded. So showing strength in terms of numbers of the ideal and details of proposal is really important, and following up with your city council members so that they know this is an ideal that's coming down the pike and that there are citizens who support the initiative is of the utmost importance. So at this point, I'm going to stop, and remember, the power is yours.
Thank you so much, Donald. And we are going to have breakout rooms in a little bit where you will have the opportunity to go into deeper detail if you have questions. Donald will be leading a breakout room on how to testify before the charter review commissions, and just like more details about some of those questions that he raised. And then we'll have another breakout room on how to write to or how to meet with state level legislators to educate them about RCV. But does anyone have any initial thoughts, reactions, or questions in response to Donald's presentation? And I saw a question for the PowerPoint. I believe that we will be able to share a copy of the PowerPoint as well.
Yes, we will put that. We'll try and put that into the notes after the meeting today.
Thank you, everybody. And before we get to our take action section of signing up for breakout rooms, we do want to mention that we are in need of donations. We are in the process of trying to make our first hire to have a full-time organizer staffing us, because for the past year and a half, we have been run entirely by volunteers, and we appreciate all of the help that we get from volunteers across the state, but it would be really helpful to make that transformative next step of being able to hire someone in order to help all of us take our movement to the next level. And we also have received a grant in the past from Represent Us and Unite America that has enabled us to produce videos that are also linked in the agenda that we've been using for education, that we've been using to help grow our movement as well. And so that's something that we've been using our funding for as well. But we also need funding in order to support both city and statewide campaigns. So we appreciate everyone who has been able to donate at rankthevoteohio.org/donate, or and especially those who are able to make monthly automatic repeating contributions, because that then we know that we have an income that we could use for something like a salary. So thank you everyone for donating. But now, as we transition to taking action, we are going to ask everyone to please change the name on your Zoom. You can do that in the top right-hand corner of your photo or the box that your name is in on the Zoom. And you will go down to rename. It should be at the bottom. And then you will add either a 1 or a 2 or nothing next to your name, because if you want to be in our first breakout room with Donald, he will be going into more depth about how to contact city charter commissions. And we should have also mentioned that we have listed in the agenda which cities are having charter review commissions this year, and those include in the Dayton area, Beaver Creek, Clayton, Franklin; in the Columbus area, Columbus itself, as well as Newark; and in Northeast Ohio, we have Ravenna, Avon, Highland Heights, and Independence. And so if you or someone you know lives in any of those places, it would be a great opportunity to strategize with Donald about how to get those commissions' attentions for ranked choice voting. Or if you're interested in going the more traditional route at the municipal level, please put a 1 next to your name. If you are more interested in talking about contacting state legislators, now that the Attorney General has suggested to them that they may want to consider ranked choice voting, we will be talking about that with me in breakout room 2. So please put a 2 next to your name. And if you are interested in volunteering in other ways, then please put a 3 next to your name. And Denise, who is our volunteer coordination mobilization lead, will be talking about other ways to volunteer that don't necessarily directly involve reaching out at the city or state legislature level. And if you just have general questions, you showed up just wondering what we're about, what RCV is, and you might not be ready to take the step toward activism just yet, don't worry about it. Just leave, don't change your name, and you can stay in the main breakout room with Justin, and he'll answer general questions. But if everyone's ready, please put the number of the breakout room you want to be in next to your name, and then we'll get split up to do our deep dives.
Oh, everyone's hopping back in. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
There we are.
Woohoo.
What's up, guys? Hope that was lovely. I've got a cat in the background, sorry.
It is not a Zoom meeting without cats in the background. They are required.
Always. But I'm going to hand this back off. Kyle, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so we had a great discussion in our breakout room about reaching out to state legislators, but I was just wondering if anyone else had any big takeaways from their rooms. And if not, we could skip straight to any general question and answers.
I just want to say Donald did an excellent job of answering questions in our room about commission review and getting us straight on what that process looks like. I think it's a good, we got a good handle on it. So thank you, Donald, for helping us all get that in our brains.
Of course. I hope to hear and see all of you presenting before a Charter Review Commission or your city council members, not once, but until we actually have RCV passed in every city. So this is your opportunity to be annoying and to harass. I should not say that because legally the definition of harassment.
Don't say that.
Acceptable political engagement, we'll call
Correct.
it. Acceptable civic engagement.
I got my hat on.
There you go.
Thanks, Dennis. It looks like you have a question as well.
Yes.
It looks like you're muted.
You're going to unmute.
Yeah.
All right. Is there? I was interested in the breakout of. I know that the data showing the breakout of city charters compared, like Lorraine, and we're one of the last. I mean, everybody, all the cities around us are mostly charters. So I was like, is there? I don't know. It might be included in the toolkit, probably some data where you could look at what cities are charters and what cities are not.
We actually have a list of charter review of cities that are charters, and we can include that as well in our follow-up notes.
All right. All right.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
It looks like Russ has a question too.
Yes, I wanted to ask everybody if they've had any experience with their Board of Elections. I can see if our now town decided to implement this, and the Board of Elections could say, oh, no, we can't do that. We don't know how to do that, and blah, 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 objections. I wonder if anybody else has had experience with the Board of Election about this process.
So we have been cautious about raising the possibility of imminent legislation thus far because we want to be strategic in having amassed enough support before we go to the state boards, and we don't want anyone hostile to ranked choice voting to try to like stop it through that process. But what we have done is I just put a link in the chat. Our allies at the Ranked Choice Voting Resource Center have already done an analysis of Ohio's compatibility with ranked choice voting systems. And they've found that 80% of our counties already use systems that are compatible with ranked choice voting, and the remaining 20% would need workarounds. And so as we're looking at the cities that we're trying to pass this in, most of them already have boards that are compatible. That said, if anyone knows people in the boards who might be open-minded and helpful, it would be great if you would please reach out to them and try to socialize this idea among them.
Kyle, that's great. You and I are both in Summit County. Have you had any contact with Summit County Board of Elections?
I have not, but if you have any ideas about how to do that, I would be happy to work on that with you.
Good, let's do it.
And the Ranked Choice Voting Resource Center is set up specifically to help any jurisdiction that is at all interested in learning about how it would work, the practicalities. They invite anyone around the country to contact them, and they would be happy to consult about how to make it work and best practices and what works and what doesn't. They have people on their staff who have run ranked choice voting elections. They've set up those systems. There are former secretaries of state and other Board of Election officials have the practical experience, and it's being done in dozens of places around the country. So it's not something that boards of elections need to be afraid of. They just need to contact them and get those resources in place.
Well, thank you. I think Kristen is going to walk us through upcoming events and opportunities.
Yes, I am. So if you have not been to our website, rankthevoteohio.org, I encourage you to go and click on the calendar link, because that has a lot of our upcoming events on it. We do use Basecamp and Nation Builder and Google Drive. So we have all of these resources. If you want to be a volunteer and want to join us and help support this effort around the state, we welcome you. And you can go to volunteer orientation. That is happening on Wednesday at 7 p.m. We do this the first Wednesday of every month. So volunteer orientation, you are welcome to come find out more about who we are, what we do, and how you can get involved. And then on the 3rd of March, we will be at John Carroll University Political Science Department and with the Freedom Society. Kyle and Justin are going to be talking with them about ranked choice voting and what that means. You're welcome to join and attend. Please come, please bring your friends. We can always use people to sit there with a clipboard and take names as well. So for people who are interested in getting involved. Our next speaker training is next Monday at 7 p.m. We welcome all of you who want to speak to City Council or speak to a commission review to join us on Monday night at 7 p.m. or at 6:30 p.m. It'll be online. We'll share slides, we'll share information, we'll help you speak to your representatives in the City Council, as well as speak publicly. We have the materials. Show up. We'll give you everything you need. And then we have weekly team leads calls for those who are interested in leadership. That happens on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Our next one will be on a week from tomorrow, because we had today's meeting. We don't meet tomorrow, so it'll be a week from tomorrow at 8 p.m. And I encourage all of you to take a look at our political action toolkit, which has messaging information, how to talk to your elected officials, how to write an letter to the editor. All of that is in our toolkit. Please download that, take a look at that, and take action today. Again, it's all up to you. What did you say, Donald? What was your final phrase there?
The power is yours.
The power is yours. Take it and run with it. And to help raise awareness, and you can support us by donating to us via our website, purchase swag. Kyle has his swag on right there. You're a Rank the Vote Ohio swag, purchase some. We get a part of those for donations, and sign up to volunteer and follow us on social, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We are all over the place. Please follow us. And we appreciate you being here. And I want to give, Donald has a very important issue that he just wants to share a quick shout out. Donald doesn't just do ranked choice voting. So I wanted to give him just a second here to shout out for that.
Thank you, everyone. I have a change.org petition that's going on right now in order to amend the 26th Amendment. It's not really the goal. It is to raise awareness for youth and prisoner suffrage. And what that means is giving prisoners the unencumbered right to vote. As of August 5th last year, Vermont, Maine, and the Washington, D.C. all allow for prisoners to vote, and also to lower the voting age to 16. This is being proposed all over the country. Happy to provide you with more information. I'm sharing it in the chat. If everyone can sign, this is the first step. It's part of my organization, Ohio Families Unite for Political Action and Change. We're officially going to be building out a webpage and adopted it at our board meeting this past Friday. But right now, please just sign. We need to increase the number of voters that are eligible to vote because it makes things like RCV possible. So voter enfranchisement is the goal. I'm not sure what everyone thinks about giving prisoners the right to vote, but again, I believe we're all humans, and although you commit a crime, you should have a loss of liberty if you are in prison or in jail. It does not mean you should have a loss of your humanity, as well as the number of issues that are besieging 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds these days is super important. I think it's time that we begin to incorporate them into the voting franchise as well. It says there's 58 followers, but my Twitter handle has grown from 30 to 200 just because of this petition. The more that you all can sign, share, and spread the word, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you, Kristen, for giving me an opportunity to raise this issue.
Thank you all for being here. Great conversation today.
Thank you.